So Paul Skeens came out in the sixth inning against the Dodgers last night, and it was tied 2-2. I'm sure that the bullpen in the top of the seventh didn't give up 10 runs, right? Because that would be crazy. That would be crazy if they did. Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. It is Wednesday, June 10th. Game 4 of the NBA Finals is tonight. I'll be talking about the finals. I haven't made a video since the finals started, which is my bad. But we're going to be talking about the NBA Finals tonight and what I think about the series. And then later on, we'll be talking about the state of Pirates baseball. So, be warned, the second half of the video probably is going to be depressing just because the Pirates are probably in the worst position they've been all season. So just I'm warning you now. Anyways, game 4 of the finals is tonight. If I had made a video Monday morning before game 3, I would have said that the Knicks were going to sweep the Spurs because I never thought there was any way that the Spurs would be able to go into Madison Square Garden in the finals, in their first finals game since 1999, and be able to take it. So that completely surprised me, completely took me off guard. I wasn't expecting that at all, but they did just that. They looked like the better team, and the Knicks came out super slow, and they never really quite got their feet under them. They always looked like half a step behind the Spurs the entire game. But every game in this series so far has been extremely close. And I was thinking about it during game 3. I was like, this is probably the most fun, the most exciting overall finals that we've had. Because I know last year, game 1 in Spurs Thunder, that was amazing. But I feel like most of the games from the last finals weren't very close. Game 7 was not close when Halliburton left. OKC slowly pulled away with it, but every game so far in this series has been extremely close and extremely tight, and it has just been pure cinema. Every game, every time it's on, I'm sure we're all locked in just watching the entire game. I don't, stream or anything during the game, which I did during the conference finals, and I would just pay attention to it on the TV. But no, I'm sitting down and I'm locked in every time there's a finals game on, and it will be no different tonight because I truly think that we are witnessing maybe the birth of one of the greatest young duos we've ever seen in Stephon Castle and Wembanyama. In game 3, they were the first duo. I think it was either age 22 or younger or under the age of 22. Same difference, but first duo under in that age range to each score 20 points in a finals game. So, yeah, if they're able to win a championship this year, or even in, the next couple years, we're looking at the birth of one of the greatest, youngest duos of all time. And I don't think that's crazy to say. The Spurs are insanely young. They're talented. In their first year in the playoffs, they knock off the defending champs in 7. So, it's stuff that we've never really seen before. Because even when Shea went on his, first big playoff run with the Thunder, he lost to Luka in the Western Conference Finals. It took him a year to really get settled and then go on the finals run from last year. So this is something that we've never really seen before. Even the Knicks, it's taken a while for the Knicks to get to this point, and they've lost in the playoffs the past couple years to finally get to this point, and the Spurs are just here in their first chance at it. So that makes no sense to me. It's awesome to watch. Anyone who's complaining about the Spurs and saying they're worse than the Thunder in terms of flopping or playing dirty, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're just coping. Lou Dort is the dirtiest player in the NBA. Hartenstein is just difficult to watch with how much he holds Wemby and does all that. And maybe the Spurs have a couple fouls that could be considered dirty every now and then, And maybe, yeah, Wemby flops every now and then, so does Castle, but the Shea and the Thunder do it practically every possession. I mean, and when they do it, it is worse than anything the Spurs do. I promise you that. Shea in game 7 pump faking and then jumping 3 feet into the defender in midair is worse than anything Wemby's done in terms of flopping. Now, the hit on Brunson in game 3, that definitely could be considered dirty. I could see that. And it probably should have been called a flagrant. It most definitely should have been called a flagrant because it was unnecessary because Brunson didn't even do anything to him. So there is that, but like the every play, like they're just being physical, right? They did the same thing to the Thunder. They're a physical team, and I personally am a fan of that. It's the NBA Finals. I think the refs should let teams play a little physical. I don't think we should be allowing, offensive players, Wemby or Brunson, to push their elbow into the offensive player and then jerk backwards and throw up a wild shot. I don't think that should be allowed, and I don't think that should be called a foul. And it is called way too much. But in the finals, at least, the refs haven't been terrible. I know they blamed the refs in game 3, but I don't think it was a terribly called game. I'd have to go back and watch and really see, but from my memory of it, it didn't look like a really terribly called game. But that's just my opinion. And then my NBA Finals hot take as well, before we switch gears and talk about the state of the Pirates, my hot take is that if Wemby comes back from this series deficit, it is better than LeBron's 3-1 comeback. And you may be thinking that is a crazy thing to say. Why in the world would you ever say that? I'm not really comparing this year's Knicks to the 2016 Warriors, although if you did want to make that comparison, I mean, you probably could. Like I feel like they match up decently well. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just, maybe that's the most idiotic thing you've ever heard today. And if so, whatever. I just don't Wemby coming back from down 2 games to nothing when you lose the first 2 home games and then you have to go to the Garden and win in the Garden at least twice to win the series. That would be better than LeBron's 3-1 comeback. The atmosphere at the Garden is unlike any sports atmosphere I've personally seen. So, yeah, I mean, and also it's never been done before. A team has never lost the first 2 games at home and then come back and won the series. It has never happened in the NBA Finals before. So it would be along the same lines of no team has come back down 3-1 before in the finals. Very similar in that regard. So when you factor in it's the Garden, first finals game since 99. They haven't won the finals since 73. It's the Knicks. Yeah, you know what? I think it'd be more impressive to come back down 2-0 against this Knicks team. And that's my take. And you can bash me in the comments for all you want. I don't care. That's my opinion, and that's what I think. Maybe someday, maybe somewhere along the line, I'll also bring up the GOAT debate too, and then we can argue about how, you know, LeBron is actually the GOAT and MJ's a close second. We can have that argument down the line sometime, but today's not the day for that. All right, let's talk about the Pirates. They got smoked by the Braves over the weekend, which, I kind of expected. It's the Braves, it's the best team in baseball, and, you know, most of the games were at least a little bit competitive. We didn't get, like, blown out in every one of them. So, wasn't the end of the world to get swept by the Braves. But I would have liked to see us win like 1 or 2. Not 1, not 2. I would have liked to see us win at least one of the games and not get swept. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Last night was Paul Skeens' game against the Dodgers, and he won his battles against Shohei. He comes out in the sixth, and he only gave up 2 runs. Okay, it's 2-2. So the offense has to get going a little bit, but we'll be okay. We can still compete. No. Instead, the bullpen gives up 10 runs in the 7th inning alone. If that's not the perfect picture of what this season has been for the Pirates, I don't know what is. Our bullpen has got to be the worst in the league by far. I mean, I don't even watch really other teams play baseball, so I wouldn't know. But 10 runs in the top of the 7th when your starter, Cy Young winner from last year, one of the best pitchers in baseball, only gives up 2 runs to the Dodgers. And you can't give up 10 runs after that. In what world can you do that and not want to cut everybody in the bullpen and start over new? There's got to be better guys out there. There's got to be a better guy in AAA. There's got to be some guy we could trade for, because we can't keep allowing our bullpen to blow leads. Like, are we serious? If I was Skeens, I would request a trade to the Yankees tomorrow or right now. Like, it's so ridiculous to watch. And I've been slowly getting into baseball more and more, but I can confidently say I'm a big Pirates fan. And that was one of the worst things I've ever had to watch, to be quite honest. So, man, I don't even know what to say about the Pirates. Like, I don't know where you go from here. Because, yeah, sure, they can go beat, a couple bad teams and maybe get back to, 4 or 5 games above 500. But if your bullpen continues to lose you games as much as they are, we may not make the playoffs, and we may not even finish above 500. Because over time, it's just going to wear them down. I mean, I don't even really blame the hitting, just because when you go into an inning tied 2-2, and then your bullpen gives up 10 runs, and you come back up to bat an inning later down 10 instead of the game being tied like it just was an inning ago, how do you expect them to bat from that? Like, what's the thought process there? It can't be good. It can't feel good to have that happen. So I don't even know where they go from there. They play them again tonight. I'll have one game. I'll have the Pirates on the TV, and I'll have the NBA Finals on the, home movie theater projector screen, and I'll be paying attention to both. But, man, tough night last night for the Pirates. Really tough. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will be back in another episode, potentially tomorrow after Game 4. Back-to-back episodes, something I've never really done before. So, hopefully I can make that happen. Hopefully I'll have time to make that happen. But if not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.